want to talk to you about something that most founders completely misunderstand: the power of narrative. Look, revolutionary founders don't tell better stories, they rewrite reality. That's exactly what the narrative pillar is all about. So, what do I mean by narrative? I'm not talking about prettier words or catchier slogans. I'm not talking about polishing up your pitch deck. I'm talking about engineering a truth so powerful, so complete, that it becomes the new operating system for your entire market. Now think about it this way. When Apple said, "Think different," they weren't just creating a new tagline. They were establishing a narrative where creative people use Apple products. That's it. That narrative became reality. That's what a powerful narrative does. Now, here is the problem I see constantly. Most founders are stuck playing the messaging game, trying to sound a little better than their competitors, using the same old industry scripts and so on. 9 out of 10 brands fail to create narratives with real power because they focus on superficial messaging instead of engineering new market realities. When your narrative is weak, you constantly struggle to explain your value. People compare you to existing solutions. You get trapped in feature and price wars. Your message gets lost in the noise. But when your narrative is strong, like when you hit 120 or more points on my framework, something incredible happens. Your way of seeing the market becomes the way. Competitors have to use your language. Your framework becomes the standard. My narrative equation combines 4 powerful forces. Number 1, reality framework. This is your power to reshape how the market thinks and perceives. It's like when Salesforce said, "Software should not be installed. It should be in the cloud." They didn't just sell a product, they changed how we think about software. Number 2, propagation mechanics. This is how effectively your reality spreads through the markets. It's how easily people can understand, remember, and share your narrative. The best narratives spread themselves because they're designed to be passed along. Number 3, memory lock. This is how permanently your narrative sticks in the minds and culture. It's when your narrative becomes so embedded in how people think that they can't imagine the category or that market segment without it. It becomes part of their identity. Next, viral dynamics. This is the multiplier effect of self-perpetuating narrative spread. It's when your narrative doesn't just spread, but actually gets stronger as it moves from person to person, like a snowball rolling downhill. When we plot your scores across these dimensions, we create what we call the narrative strategy map. This shows you the core beliefs your narrative is reshaping, the main channels where your narrative spreads best, the mechanisms keeping your narrative locked in memory, the triggers that accelerate your narrative speed, and so on. And it reveals interesting patterns, such as maybe you got a brilliant concept, but it's too complex to spread easily. Or maybe your narrative spreads quickly, but doesn't stick around. The ideal is balance, a narrative that's profound, spreadable, memorable, and self-reinforcing. When your narrative score exceeds 120 points on my matrix, your entire business transforms. Marketing gets easier because you're not explaining, you're reminding. Sales cycles shorten because customers already know and they believe your worldview. Price sensitivity decreases because you've changed the value equation. Competition struggles because they're forced to play on your terms. Culture and media start to adopt your language naturally. But here is where most people miss. A narrative isn't just words, it's not taglines. It's a complete system for reshaping perception. And any weak component undermines the whole thing. So, building a powerful narrative happens in stages. In the first 3 months, you focus on your foundation, getting crystal clear on the beliefs you're changing, crafting your core brand story, and gathering your initial proof. From months 3 to 6, you refine your narrative, making it easier to understand and share, more memorable, and consistently implemented across touchpoints. From months 6 and 12, you establish your narrative, deepening the connection to people's identity, aligning your cultural trends, and making your framework essential to understanding the category. That's the key. And beyond 12 months, you accelerate, optimizing for maximum spread, developing systems that strengthen your narrative through sharing, and eliminating anything that creates friction. Depending on your business, you might emphasize different types of narratives. For example, you may have the disruptive narrative. This one directly challenges fundamental assumptions, like Tesla saying that electric is superior, not just an alternative. Or you may have the transformational narrative, which connects your product to personal change, like Nike's Just Do It. It's making their products about becoming your best self. Or you may have the enlightenment narrative, reveals hidden truths like Dove exposing beauty industry manipulation while offering a more honest affirmative. Now, the movement narrative is something that creates collective action towards a shared purpose, like Tom's making each purchase part of a larger social mission. Your narrative builds directly on beacon, resonance, and authority pillars. Your truth force from beacon becomes the authentic core of your belief architecture. Your audience psychographics from resonance pillar inform your emotional triggers. Your reality engineering from the authority pillar aligns with how you reshape the market thinking. And your narrative then powers everything that follows: your delivery, your engagement, and your momentum. So here is what I want you to remember. Revolutionary founders don't just tell better stories. They create new mental operating systems that reshape how markets think and behave. The most valuable companies in history didn't just communicate better. They sort of fundamentally altered how we perceive their categories, making their way of thinking the default. So, your narrative isn't about prettier words. It's about your power to reshape reality, spread that new reality effortlessly, lock it into the cultural memory, and make it self-reinforcing as it spreads. So, take your time to assess your narrative score. Are you just saying things differently? Or are you actually changing how your market thinks? Remember, in business, those who control the narratives don't just win the game. They define what game everyone is playing and what winning really means. Okay, so on this page, you will find a lot of information about the narrative pillar. You got the main equation, the components of that equation, and each of those components has a sub-equation. Don't be afraid of the equations. They are mathematical tools to help you see how the different forces work together to create your narrative. Or if one of those elements scores low, or you ignore it, or you're not good at it, it will bring down the entire score. So that now you're aware not only of what elements to look at, but also which elements to be careful so that you don't ignore those elements or the score doesn't come down. If you have any questions, just hit me up on LinkedIn or X. My name is Mash Bonigala, and I will try and answer your questions. I'll see you in the next video.